Republicans fighting with Democrats in Tallahassee, that's not news. But a battle royale between the Republican governor and the Republican Speaker of the House, well, you don't see that every day. The issue is taxpayer money being used as incentives to attract businesses and tourists to Florida. Christopher Brantley joins us with more. Christopher.
Well, good evening, Alan. This battle has been going on for months, but it took a turn last week when the Enterprise Florida CEO resigned. Then a few days later, the Florida House voted to repeal the whole Enterprise Florida agency. In Tallahassee, the gloves are off.
Why in the world would Halsey Brashear or anybody else vote to eliminate Enterprise Florida and decimate Visit Florida? I mean, this is about some family getting a job.
A robust civil debate is a sign that our democracy is working.
Inter-party warfare has been on display as the Republican governor and Republican Speaker of the House duke it out in public over House Bill 9, a bill repealing the tourism agency Enterprise Florida. Governor Rick Scott saying the agency is a job creator.
For our state to simply say, we are not going to compete with other states, we're not going to make it easier to incentivize job creators to grow in Florida, that's just a big mistake for our state and for our families.
The Florida House Speaker Richard Corcoran saying it's a waste.
We don't need two government agencies doing, in essence, the same thing. We ought to have one. It ought to be public. It ought to have all the requirements of openness and transparency.
The two agencies both promote Florida, but in a different way. Enterprise promotes Florida to out-of-state companies hoping to bring their businesses here, while Visit Florida promotes out-of-state tourism. But the changes would be to both, eliminating Enterprise and making major funding changes to Visit.
To eliminate the programs completely or massively defund them is probably not in the best interest of the average taxpayer.
Here on the Suncoast, that change has not been received well.
With 1 out of 5 jobs in Sarasota County created by tourism dollars, that's a major impact.
A major impact to local businesses like Fraser's Gift Nook.
Well, it's real important. You can see that the street's busy, the shop is busy. And you know, if we didn't have all that advertisement, what I think is it's like out of sight, out of mind.
Linda Fraser, the owner, knows tourism well. She worked in the Oklahoma governor's office helping direct tourism. She worries about what might happen to her shop if the tourists stop coming.
As mom and pop stores, we can't compete with the big box stores, so we have to depend on the daily, influx of people.
But the fight isn't over yet. House Speaker Corcoran wants Visit Florida to promote all aspects of Florida.
The issues that we deal with sometimes are so complex and they're so important to the future of our state that they demand and they merit that additional discussion.
The governor has threatened to veto the bill, but the speaker has been working to gain a 2/3 majority to override the veto. At the end of the day, politics aside, it comes down to the local businesses, like Linda Fraser's.
It's like out of sight, out of mind. If they don't see those constant ads about Visit Florida, whether it's the East Coast, the West, the Keys, then they, go, well, they see something else on TV and they'll visit there.
Well, as they say in politics, nothing is absolutely certain yet. At least until the bill is sent to the governor for his expected veto. It will then depend whether the House can garner enough support to override the veto, Alan.
Christopher, thank you. On the board of members of Enterprise Florida is someone from right here on the Suncoast. He is taking aim at local legislators backing the governor. In a moment, he joins us on the trapezoid.